Namaskar. Greetings, friends. It is Saturday, the 3rd of May, 2025, and it is time for another episode of my weekly analysis. I use a small number of tools which I have covered in separate videos, and I'll provide their link in the description of this video. My approach is to try and keep it very simple and arrive at an actionable plan for the coming days and weeks. In this episode, I'll be looking at two indices, S&P 500 and FTSE 100, and three stocks, Celsius, Amazon, and Hims and Hers. And since we've just had a month end, I'll also share with you the status of my trading portfolio and the top 20 stocks held in that portfolio and their respective percentages. But before we do that, as always, a quick word of statutory disclaimer. The information being shared in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be construed as an investment advice. Individuals are encouraged to do their own research and assume full responsibility of any actions taken based on the suggestions provided. Let me first share with you a quick update on my trading portfolio. I started this just over a year ago, completed the 57th week on Friday yesterday. The blue line depicts the overall gain to date, and the red bars here in this box show a weekly gain or loss. On the right side are the top 20 stocks held in this portfolio. And this often changes as I change the mix. Currently, the top stock by value is HIMS, which is 9.22%, and the bottom here is British Petroleum at 1.42%. So these are the top 20 currently held. My cumulative gain to date is 52.34% as of Friday. It is still under the high watermark of close to 60% that was achieved a couple of months ago. Next, we will take a look at the charts of the two indices and the three stocks that I mentioned. The first chart we'll look at is S&P 500. This is S&P 500 chart for you. I start from where we left last week, and some of the notations from last week are still here. We were here last Saturday, and since then price has done pretty much what we expected it to do. So let me just remove some of these things so that we can see clearly. I don't want to drop everything else because we will need these again. One thing is very clear now, that this downward trend is well and truly over. This trend has been broken here. And since the bottom of this swing, it has consistently made high, higher low, higher low, another higher high. The price is currently doing a rising trend, so we can get rid of this for now and we extend this further. As we can see, the price has just gone into the resistance area that I drew last week. It is quite a strong resistance area because it is from here that the big fall started. It will take quite a big push to break this. There is more likelihood of the price coming back to visit this trend line here in alignment with some of the supports on this side. If we try to draw Fibonacci and see if Fibonacci retracement also aligns with some of these areas, that will give us a further confirmation of what can be done in coming days. So one interesting aspect we see here straight away is that the resistance that I had drawn last week, where the current price sits, is also very close to this 61.8% retracement of this move. So it is quite an important area, and my hunch is that price will retreat from here. You see this little support area here. It'll maybe do a little bit within this resistance area, then come back down to pick up more buyers from this area and then give another push up. By which time I expect the RSI to also get close to 70 mark, at which point we might see even more profit taking or sellers. So that's how I see S&P 500 behaving in the coming days. There is another possibility which is probably less likely, is that if there is an adverse news which means that there is a steeper fall, then it might come to visit this area which is aligned with the demand here as well as the 38.2% retracement. For that to happen, it will have to be quite steep and quick before it bounces off this area. The picture I draw earlier is more likely, which is come back here, pick up this demand, stay above the new trend line, and then push through this resistance to the next one. So that's how I see S&P 500 going. Next, let us look at FTSE 100. As you can see, FTSE 100 has recovered a big portion of the fall that happened after the tariff war started. If I draw the Fibonacci on the latest move, you can see that the price is currently at the 78.6%, which also aligns with this resistance area. Let me draw that resistance area here. Looking at the alignment of the resistance area and this Fibonacci retracement, there is a very high likelihood of price taking a pause here and coming down to pick up more buyers. On the RSI also, the reading is currently 61%, and it won't take a lot for it to get into the overbought zone at 70 and beyond. So let me draw a few important support areas and the likely path it might follow. First support area I see here, which is also aligned with the 50% Fibonacci. The next one is here, also aligned with 61.8% Fibonacci. Fibonacci never fails to amaze me. Almost always, the key support and resistance area somehow magically fall into the key Fibonacci zones. And that is why this tool works. So the probable path I see from here is come back here and then go back up and penetrate this area and go straight up to here. So that is one possibility. Another possibility, similar to S&P 500, is that if there is a adverse news at a global level resulting into a steeper sell-off, then it might come back right up to this support here and pick up orders at this stage and then take steps to move up. But just based on the strength in last few weeks, there is more likelihood of price doing how I have drawn it, which is respect this resistance, take a pause, come back, pick up more orders here, and then penetrate this resistance area to revisit the previous highs, at which time we will see how other things line up. So that's FTSE 100 for now. Next, let us look at Celsius. As you can see, from the June of last year until about February, Celsius stock has made a steady decline. It's only recently that it has started going back up. Now, in order to take a look at how the recovery looks like, I'm going to zoom onto this particular segment of price action here. If I draw a trend line on this, as you can see, the price action is sitting right on this rising trend line. If I draw a parallel channel and see in terms of how far away it is from the top of the channel, as you can see, it is quite far away from the top of the channel. So it is kind of struggling a little bit, if I have to be honest. Let us also look at the big picture view and see where it currently sits on the Fibonacci retracement. So I draw Fibonacci right up to the end of this. Okay, so Fibonacci from the top of this to the bottom of this entire move. What we notice here is that this particular point, 23.6% retracement, acted as a resistance which has not been broken yet, and the price since has come down to visit this rising trend line. Now, the RSI is also pointing downward below the midway point here at 46.55. My worry with this particular structure is that there is a likelihood that it might break down. And if I zoom back up again, break this line and come back to visit some of these support areas. One support area here and another one here. If the price does so, then this channel will be invalidated. So this rising trend line will no more be valid. The reason I say there is a very high chance is that since the recovery started, it has not been a strong recovery. It is struggling to penetrate this area and meandering along towards the bottom of the channel rather than towards the top of the channel. It might actually break this and come down and pick up more orders from here. And if it still continues downward, then from here as well. That said, when I look at the history of this price movement over last 1 year, except for this strong sell off here, it has been a very slow mover and it has declined to these levels in a long period of time. So if I just use this as a template and project it on the rising trend, chances are that the rising trend will also be a slow burn, which gives me a hope that whilst it has kind of started slowly going back up, it will continue continue in this, albeit alongside the bottom of the channel, it will slowly and steadily recover most of these losses as it retraces back these Fibonacci levels. It is one of the top stocks in my portfolio. I'm not looking to take profits anytime soon on this one. So if it does indeed come down to these levels, I will only add to my position. So that's how I'm looking at Celsius for the coming week. Let me try and draw two probable paths here. So one path, which is my wishful thinking, will go from here and then take a pause at this resistance, come back here, and then take another push up to the next level of Fibonacci. So that is one path. The other one is, if this low printed a couple of days ago, if we draw a line so that you can see what I'm trying to point to, this low here. If this low is broken, then the chances are that the price will revisit this. So in which case, the path will look something like this. Pause here at the break, come back, pause back here, come back. So these are the two possible scenarios I see. I don't see the price coming back right up to the support area in the near future unless there is a real bad news. So that is Celsius for the coming days and weeks. Next, I will take a look at HIMS and HERS. This is currently the top ranked by value in my trading portfolio. From the highs of above 70, it came down recently. So what I would like to do at the start of analyzing this is draw Fibonacci on this move here and draw it further. On Thursday and Friday, it made a very strong push up with the Friday candle closing at the top of the price action for the day. That has led the RSI to also inch towards 70 reading, beyond which it will be overbought territory in the short term. The price is currently below the 38.2 retracement, which also happens to be aligned with this resistance area. So let me draw that resistance area, this resistance area here, aligned with 38.2%. There is a support area here. Let me draw that as well, which happens to be just below the 23.6% retracement. So the probable scenario I see is that price will continue pushing up and hit this area of resistance and the 38.2% retracement simultaneously. By that time, I suspect the RSI will also go into overbought territory, which will be the time when some people will start taking short-term profits and the price might come back here. So the scenario I see is price going up here and from here retreating back up to this point where it will pick up orders from this demand area, which also happens to be nicely aligned with 23.6%, and then go for the next move up. So on HIMS, that is the most likely scenario. If the price does indeed come back here, I will add to my position. I am not going to sell anything at this point. I will wait for it to either continue to the next level or come back to this level where I will add and then consider taking some profits when it reaches the levels here, here, and here. Last but not the least, let's take a look at Amazon. I would like you to pay attention to this declining trend line here. I would also like you to take a look at this price structure from this swing high here to the swing low here, back up, a lower high, a higher low, and then this break through the declining trend line, revisit the trend line, and then a push back up, which has broken this high here. It is roughly making a double bottom kind of a structure after this declining trend. All signs are looking positive for a recovery on Amazon as well. But if you look at the price on Friday, let me just get rid of this so that you can see the price candle clearly. The price opened here, closed here, effectively printing a red candle, but the push down was kind of rejected by buyers pulling in to support the price, and it closed fairly close to where it opened. Okay, so that is also in a way positive sign. I think the most positive sign for me is that it has broken this neckline here, albeit by a very small margin, and the price has closed above the previous declining trend. So I am quite positive about the outlook for Amazon in coming days, and I will actually watch this new trend developing, which will be something like this, a trend like that in the short term. So in terms of possible hurdles going forward, the nearest one is here. So a resistance here, followed by another here, and of course at the top of the previous highs. Let me also draw Fibonacci to see if there is any alignment with any of the levels that I've drawn. This is aligned with 50%, and that one is aligned with 78.3%. So both these levels are aligned with Fibonacci's as well. So in terms of a probable path, I have a feeling that the price will continue going up from here up to this point. From there, it might come back to either this current resistance area will become a support, and price will go further to the next Fibonacci levels. That is one scenario. The other scenario is if this is not regarded, then the other scenario could be from here to here and then back up to visit this support area here before it goes to make the next move. So these are the two possible scenarios I see. I am more inclined to keep the first one as my primary option, which is this. So go back up, hit this resistance, come back and pick up some more orders at the level where it is currently sitting. In terms of my own position, I'm still not close to exhausting my buying options on this one. Will I buy on Monday at this level? Probably not. I will want to see it have a clear breach of this, visit the next resistance, then come back, maybe add at that point here. So rather than adding straight away, see it go up, hit the next resistance, come back down to this level, and then I might add a little more. I do not see likelihood of the price coming back to these levels anytime soon. So at least for now, short-term analysis, I'm kind of ignoring this. So this is how I see it. Up, back down to trend line, aligned with this, and that's when I might add a little more before it goes further up. With that, I conclude my analysis for this week. Hope you find it useful. If you like the contents of this channel, please like and subscribe, and also share with other people who might benefit from this. So bye for now. Have a good week ahead. Until next week. Namaskar. Thank you.